episode 19, where we say really stupid stuff right before Dan starts recording, and this episode is yet to be named. We will start with some announcements. So first, TikTok kind of blew up. We had some really cool conversations happening there that moved over to Patreon. Some people who have been checking out our stuff and talking about some of the stuff that I've been creating, as well as our campaign. It's been really awesome to get to meet and talk with some of y'all. So cool. Thanks for joining. Thanks for coming along to what is now episode 19, and we'll also record episode 20 today. This is wild. With that, if you want to take part in some of the story that we're doing, we've had some patrons vote on magic items to be included in the story, some backstory to an NPC that's going to be coming up, different ways that you can engage and kind of shape the way that the story is coming out. You get to have a part of that if you're a patron subscriber, so check that out if you want to, or if you just want to support us and hang out and talk with me there, you can do that too. There are also different tools that I make for DMs, blogs for getting to know how to play and things like that, both on our website, kingleodnd.com, but also through the Patreon. Lastly, best way to support us will be subscribing on YouTube, so if you want to do that too, you're watching this or listening to it through what is now, we also have Apple Podcasts now. If you've been hanging out waiting for Apple Podcasts,
wow.
Steven checked in with me and was like, hey, why aren't we on Apple Podcasts? And I looked into it, I just didn't click a button. So, thank you, Steven. Cool. That button has now been clicked.
Tim Cook's my dad. Sorry, Tim Apple.
Tim, what did Tim do to your dad?
That's what I thought.
Yeah, Tim Cook's my dad.
Right.
On the daily, Tim Cook's his dad.
And in line with all of this,
open flame.
In line with all of this Patreon stuff too, we now have 6 out of 7 painted miniatures of the characters of this story. If you're wondering who 6 is, it's not Tim's character Cicero. It is Laura Lett's wolf character that just came into the party last session. He has a painted miniature. Tim does not. We'll worry about that later. We'll see what's happening.
Create your own opinion about it.
Create your own opinion about it and tell me about it on Patreon. To recap episode 18, if you actually want to see all these close-ups that Steven is working really hard to do, go to our Twitter page. And I've now mentioned just about almost all of our social media influence that we have. None of those are in focus.
Shut up. That's the default one.
Yeah.
Whatever.
If you would like,
break them, they're gentle.
Steven's voiceover of dying sounds to be your ringtone. Only Patreon subscribers of $1,000 a month will get access to such premium content. I will now recap.
You need to stop doing that noise in daily life.
It's literally the title of the last episode is Asterix. Dying noises.
I think that you should capitalize on that.
Yeah.
Never make the noise again.
Flag.
Unless someone
it's my golden sound effect.
Can you make it an NFT?
He only records it 15 minutes before sunset.
Hey, if one day someone pays $1 million for .mp3.
Stop doing it. Now they're going to steal it.
You're right.
That's been trademarked.
Anyways.
Episode 18 consisted of the party squaring off with some modified wolves that breathed out many different elements, one of which was deeply bonded with Lorelei. Once the rest of the lab was, well, not the rest of the lab, once other rooms of the lab were explored, they found some notes, some cages with bones of a larger creature, and then they stumbled into a room that suspended a creature in neon green fluid. A massive gray beast or fiend or being with long tendril-like fins, an open circular mouth with rows of razor-like teeth, and 4 vertical black orbs resting behind slits of flesh. Its body is motionless in a vertical cylinder of fluid. And also, for the heck of it, Lacey, thanks for liking our video on TikTok that just happened right now. And my phone alerted.
Shout out,
Lacey.
That's exciting.
So anyway,
Lacey,
the party walks into this room. Also, one of these vertical cylinders sits on the far right side of the corner. On the left side, you can see one that's busted open, shattered glass along the floor too. That there used to be another chamber like this that has been destroyed or worn down over time. And so the party may assess the room and do their thing.
Whoa!
That was good.
What is that?
I can't sense magic or anything, so I'm gonna keep an eye on entrances, the perimeter. Watch for more wolves and other
one way in, one way out.
Spooky things.
So
the entrance.
keep an eye on the way you came in.
The entrance.
To ensure we are all on the same page, the stone, the husk stone that has the invasive force inside of it. The one identifying marker beyond the purple husk stone that contains it is 4 vertical eyes. So, in some form or fashion, the stone that is currently at the magic shop is directly connected to this room. So it is imperative that we learn the connection between this room and that stone. So the question is, does one of us go get the stone? Do we all leave and come back? It is certainly important. Perhaps it would be useful for us to have an additional powerful magic user with us. Perhaps we get assistance to join us as we reconnect this. It's too early to tell without the stone to communicate, but it consistently wished to be reconnected with its brother. And then Pilgrim just kind of gestures to the other floating creature in this tube and just kind of leaves that implication out in the air.
Its brother is in the lake, though, I thought.
Well,
we're under the lake right now.
Efforts.
yeah, I guess
Are we?
Could be.
can
Gotta find out.
maybe I want to lean on
Turn on
Pilgrim's spending his life inside of cave systems and having his way around there.
What?
Having a sense of like, are we just under the lake right now, more or less?
Yeah.
Actually under the board.
Was that something I just kind of be able to track?
Yeah, you don't need to roll for this or anything. From your sense of when you were walking through the woods to get here, and you were constantly using the lake as your vantage point.
Yeah.
And then you've circled around, found this indention into some rocks, and the lab entrance kind of stayed on that same level. That you feel like you're still above the surface of the lake. That you haven't like gone below sea level for that.
Okay.
So yeah, at this point, everything still seems above water.
Okay. Interesting. So we're above sea level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
So we are not under the lake.
So, by my calculations, it's not the right word. By my sense of direction,
Okay.
we are not under the lake. This is true. So, the question is this another brother of this creature? Were there 3 originally? Perhaps the brother the stone refers to escaped, and then kind of Pilgrim points at the broken tube, and is now hiding in the lake. There are many things we don't know. The stone itself and the usurper, the intruder within the stone, has proven very unhelpful. But perhaps we could gain some knowledge by bringing the stone to this place. Or we could put ourselves in grave mortal danger. What do we think?
Let me first try to understand what you're saying.
No.
Do you think that this could be a brother from another mother?
Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
I didn't pay attention, so somebody else talk.
I think it is important for Ferragran to be here with us, with the stone.
Will we have to check? Should we check with Rickeldar about that?
He knows that we've gone to that magic shop.
But I think there was also something about like
I
pretty
don't think
secretive about where we're going and what we were doing.
We didn't do a great job. I'll go get him. It'll may take me a little while to be back.
Wait, that can't be it. No, we can't do that.
See you later.
Cicero, wait, wait, Cicero, I appreciate your willingness to help. Ferragran has never met you. And may I say, you are abysmal at first impressions.
Compliment taken. What if we just take this guy to him and now it saves us a trip?
Have you seen this guy? And Pilgrim kind of indicates the horror with
The creature itself is between 12 to 15 feet long.
Yeah, but he's asleep.
And
Something tells me he has to stay in the liquid.
in its weight, circumference, and all of that too, is small whale-sized.
What if we just ask him?
Cicero,
Wake him up.
take the words you've said and picture someone saying them to you and imagine how ludicrous they sound.
Is the creature?
I don't hear it.
Are its eyes open?
Yeah, all 4 of its eyes are open, not widely opened. That those little bits of like eyelid are slightly over each one.
Let's just ask him.
And not blinking.
No, not blinking.
Sorry.
Before we go,
I was just gonna say, Pilgrim kind of looking at. Were you doing something? I'm so sorry.
I was
Sorry, go for
to. I kind of like look at my little pal, Wolfie, and I think to him. Do you recognize this creature or this space that we're in?
It tilts its head over towards the creature, hard cock of the head over towards you, and just looks generally like it's exploring a new space, and starts to kind of walk around the perimeter of it and is sniffing now, and it looks like it's now getting familiar with it.
Okay.
I want to say while y'all were talking, Tuli was for sure listening. And
Definitely heard everything.
She was trying to see if its eyes would follow, so she was like darting back and forth in the background just to see.
Yeah.
Is there any reaction to the creature?
Sure. It seems completely inert. It is not moving. Thank you. That is actually, yes, please do that.
Hey, Bud.
Yeah.
How thick is the glass? So Tuli goes up and is looking at the glass.
Tuli punches a hole in the glass.
She's looking at the glass in the other container to see how thick it is.
Yes.
Does it seem breakable?
Make an investigation check for me.
Okay.
Nope.
Sort of standing at the back of the room, raising his hand.
Raising 2 feet.
Punch his throat.
Okay.
Next, please.
So, the glass itself, you're sorting through lots of small pieces and stuff like that. You can get a piece that you pull up and see that it's very thick. And so, like, I mean, to give you a kind of gauge, like at some point, this piece you kind of pull to the side and turn, you can see that it's 5 to 7 inches thick. And
So breakable.
I mean, under the right circumstances, yes, but it would be very hard. That this you can generally get was built to like keep things in or out.
Can I see if I recognize anything from what I know about Viscero?
Sure.
From all your dad's teaching.
Yeah, make an investigation check as well.
Dad.
I love the physical dice.
13.
13? Okay. As you get up close to this creature in the cylinder and sort through some of the glass and stuff like that too, there's a couple of pages of notes that are stuck to the glass, kind of way down at the bottom. You can recognize his handwriting. What languages do you read?
Celestial, Common, Elvish, and Goblin. But from what I know about Viscero, he probably would have written these in Elvish.
Yes.
That was our language of research.
He wrote these in Elvish.
Nice.
And so you start to read some of it, but not all of it. And
Because you were bored.
you run into some words and things about it that feel very foreign to the type of Elvish that you were trained in and read. But what you get to is some notes about, you can recognize things about like using stones in magic, and interacting with creatures, changing creatures, using magic to add and develop different abilities to improve natural forming creatures and then making them a better form of what they were. And so you're finding these like just kind of notes and research and philosophies kind of scattered and stuck to the base of the cylinder.
Cool. I'm gonna tap on the glass very gently, and I'm gonna say, "Do you know my father, Viscero? He looks like this."
Can you not transform into what your dad used to look like?
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
We look the same. He's my father.
Doesn't even have to transform.
That was
Transform
legit,
into Viscero, which looks just like Cicero.
but with a B.
He doesn't look like your. Wait.
It looks like the kind of guy whose name would start with a B.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that Pilgrim, while Cicero's also doing that, I'm going to attempt to mind link with it. Sure. And just say, "Can you hear me in there?"
You audibly hear, just like vacancy, openness, emptiness. Weirdly, like you're connecting with it, but there's nothing there.
Is he the only one that hears that?
Yeah,
Audibly?
that was when he mind linked.
Oh, you said
said
audibly.
In his mind.
Would it be
Mind.
reasonable? Would it be reasonable with my knowing this trait, connecting with creatures, to assume that that means that it's like consciousness isn't there? Like,
Yeah.
okay. Well, then I think that the connection that Pilgrim would then make for that. I'd like to amend what I initially said. I do believe we are currently looking at the body of the consciousness that lives within that husk stone. There is nothing within this form. It is a shell. It is merely a physical thing.
Yeah.
It is a shell.
It's really a shell.
It's a shell. It is a shell.
That was good.
Thank you.
It is a shell.
Yeah, some science should get closer to the microphone.
Wait, can I? What?
Welcome to our ASMR D&D podcast.
Lorelith, while he's saying this, and
While I'm saying shell over and over again.
and you very naturally just like looking around the room, just trying to see what are the finer details, what is around you in this space. Amidst the shattered pieces of glass and broken pieces that Tuli was going around to, you notice a couple purplish hues in it. While the torchlight is floating from your mage hand with the torch in here. And you can find these like thin, broken shards and pieces that are scattered throughout this of the husk stone as well. That the glass that's on the base of around this chamber too is not just from the cylinder, but there's like waste of stone and dust of husk stone here too.
Is this the same liquid that was outside the cave? That was in the cave?
This is solid glass pieces, so no. What was out there was like a yellowish, acidic or poisonous type of.
Is that what is in the cylinder?
That's an interesting check. Go ahead and make a nature check on that.
What?
How did the fish get out the front door?
That's a really good episode title.
Yeah.
20!
Whoa!
Not 20!
Actually,
We win!
okay.
I know everything about these liquids now.
Oh, this is.
I'm every woman.
In the liquid. No.
Yeah.
Next
Okay.
level.
In first, looking at this cylinder and trying to gauge what's inside of that, this is very offensive to you. Because both Pilgrim's description of this being an empty mind from life and trying to like understand this as like a creature of natural existence, and then Cicero talking about these notes of finding ways of manipulating creatures and changing them, and all of this is all in told of this laboratory so far has been people who are working to change the natural order of things. And so then you're looking at this fluid and this creature in it and its mind being taken out and changed, work with. You don't even know what's going on here, but you can get a sense that people are like doing things to adjust the natural order. And so this body's now suspended into a fluid that, as you're looking at it, you would have to assume it preserves, protects, prolongs life, that this creature is being suspended in this in a way to like maintain it. That is extremely opposite of the fluid that was outside. That when you saw the like bedding, straw, hay, grasses that were kind of built up, and then the yellowish fluid that was there burned through that. That itself, whatever was outside, whatever was there, hurt life, destroyed life, killed plants. But what is in here sustains life, supports life, and is keeping this body in a suspended state of life. And that is what a natural 20 gets you.
Sounds offensive.
Thank you. It's very offensive.
Nat 20 makes you offended.
So I see, Lorla sees the husk stone pieces on the ground, and I kind of like What are you doing? What?
I'm just talking about the thing not having. I'm telling everyone.
Would you notice if I gestured to you?
Yeah.
I think so.
I gesture to Pilgrim.
Okay. I look at Lorela. Pilgrim looks at Lorela. I follow her head to. Are you gesturing to the husk
Yes.
stuff? Okay. You're just doing that.
I want you to
Everyone
come
slowly looks down.
stand.
Yeah.
That is my gesture to get you to come over by me.
Okay, Pilgrim walks over to Lorela.
And then I point at the stuff on the ground and say, what do you think?
Pick it up. Yeah.
Eat it.
I pick up some of the husk stone pieces.
Yeah, that's what I did not want to do.
Putting
Yes.
together.
Didn't get that from the gesture.
Yeah, like you can tell just by looking at these and how small the pieces are that you're able to pick up. Like you would know that a lot of the innate features of it that are used by your people, this is like not a workable amount.
Does anybody else see what's happening?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna cast Prestidigitation, and
Nice.
I'm gonna do a little Hearthstone in my hand, like I did before when we were at the lake. Remember that?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say, turn it into this. Look at it. It's like this. Make this.
Make a history check for me as well.
Okay.
I wanted to show them.
I would love to do that.
It's a blueprint, so he doesn't.
I got an 11 plus 4, 15.
It was right where you needed to be for this information.
Nice.
You have an invasive memory pop up. And so this was like the triggering moment in your past. The moment that pushed you to leave your caves. And so this is a memory of you under your mentor's guidance going through the caves to kind of follow your brother and the training that he was getting. And what reminded you of this was the smaller fragments and pieces of the husk stone and this strong vision of seeing your brother and his mentor pulling the minds of people, your people, the Kalashtar, into a stone and then breaking it. And in effect, in the way that you received this, was them killing the lower tier people of the Kalashtar.
What?
And so, as you remember seeing that and being so disgusted by it, revolted by it, hatred for your people in that, seeing these pieces and remembering those fragments, and then seeing that inertness and inability to use this husk stone just like connects to that memory in your past as well.
Pilgrim, like, I gasp audibly. I drop the husk stone, and I stagger. I don't know. It's like I'm like faint. Like I almost fall over, and I kind of like go over to the wall and just kind of like catch myself. And I'm like not looking at. I'm just like looking at the ground, and I'm just like panting. Like Pilgrim is just like deeper, like trying to calm himself. And I start kind of doing the like clear the fog, light the path, clear the fog, and I'm just kind of like in my own little zone for a minute, and I'm just kind of going back and forth doing that.
I gesture to Wolfie to go comfort him.
I take a handful of fur and I keep going, and I'm just like doing my breathing and like talking back and forth.
Wolfie is the emotional support while we're here.
Yeah. And that's where I'm at.
Mm-hmm. Tuli says, Pilgrim? Are you okay?
I am sorry. I have had no memory of my past for so long, and this has returned perhaps too much for me to handle at once. I apologize. I kind of straighten up a little bit and kind of get centered myself again. I'm here. I'm present. I am good. And I kind of gesture to the husk stone shards. We need to bring as much as this. I propose that we bring as much of this husk stone as we can. And I gesture to the creature. And if possible, I think it's important that we bring this vessel back to Fairgrand. It cannot harm us. There is nothing within it. It is meat. It is meat floating in a tube. And its spirit, its actual being, currently resides within a huskstone in Ferragrand study. The two are separate, and I would posit that they neither, well, perhaps the stone, but this alarming creature cannot harm us in its current state. I propose that we return it to Ferragrand for further study.
How big is Wolfie? So big.
How big is it? German Shepherd size.
Oh. So nearly
Hello,
as big
I'm a
as
shepherd.
it was.
Sorry.
Steven.
So Tuli's.
I'll get it, German.
Whoa. So Tuli's gonna be very defensive and go up next to the glass and kind of tap it with her staff. And I'm assuming it sounds pretty thick.
Yeah.
And she says,
Tap that thin glass.
I think that this glass is thick. THIC.
GLAC.
And she's gonna say, so Tuli's intelligence stat is high, so
Yes.
she's gonna try and piece this together. So she's gonna say, so is what you're saying that you think this other tube was the body of the brother, and maybe this husk stone was the stone of the brother, and now the brother is free?
It is hard to know at this state. I think that is a very fair assumption to make. I would hope that Ferragrand has had ample time with the other stone, the consciousness of this creature. Pilgrim gestures to the one that's in front of us. But it's hard to know at this state. There are too many separate pieces of this puzzle. I believe we may be able to get a complete puzzle if we bring these separate pieces back to one place.
Do you think there's any chance just proximity to the body made the link happen? If so, I feel like we should be super careful getting them next to each other. But yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, my concern was, do we feel that is safe, and if anything would harm us from that?
Well,
Also, Cicero did say we should take the body a while ago, so.
Check out the stone going down. You saw that?
Cicero, Julie,
Your prestidigitation.
Clear the path, light the fog.
I appreciate your making light of that. My next question is,
Does Tim know what Tim just did? Good.
Science Tim or clever Tim?
I said it's fresh.
do either of you magic users have the ability to change the physical form of things? Perhaps we could turn this glass prison into something a bit more breakable, or perhaps something.
I can catapult it.
Yeah!
Julie's gonna say, sure don't.
Looking around the room, do I see anything that would like indicate like this would unlock it, open it, like anything that's
Anything that would.
any like button or I don't know, crank? I don't know.
Yeah, you can make a investigation check as well.
You're darn right I
And a
can.
crank. And a button crank.
A button crank. I rolled a natural 20.
Yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah.
You look around and find
This is a good round,
There's all
but I find nothing really well.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is no opening to this
No.
cylinder whatsoever.
Even if I have thieves' tools?
How?
I'm pretty sure there's like
Well, I think because of
a
Yeah,
panel.
pickpocket the
And I
glass.
think if
So-
we did 14, 15, 16, 23, 42, I
right.
think we could get it out.
Yeah. You get a good scan and you're looking around the
Is that a
actual.
Lost reference?
Yes.
So,
Whoa.
sorry.
I'm about to do a whole thing. You want to say
So respectfully, shut up.
Get off
I'm detecting a lot of
He's been there for several.
every table looks and feels different. Yours might not look or feel like this, but we're having fun.
You have to say it, you know it's true.
Yeah, everyone's enjoying this.
So you very quickly get to the point of if somebody was going to open, interact with, change, do anything with the space that this creature is in, it was likely going to involve specific magic to do so. There wasn't a physical way to get through and do that. And you also, in kind of looking around and sorting through papers and stuff that's also scattered kind of by the cylinder and stuff that's like weirdly just scattered in a semicircle around where this tube is. You get some like spell scrollings and stuff there of a page that doesn't make too much sense to you, only because of the language that it's written in, but you can see the runes and stuff that are written on it, and you've just picked up pages that outline the interworkings of some type of spell.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I guess I see two paths forward.
This was my father's place.
Thank you, Cicero. I see two paths forward. Either we collect as much huskstone and writings as possible and return those to Fairgrand for further investigation, or, and I indicate the ones with the seeming to have a spell. Cicero or Tuli, I don't know if these this seems to be some sort of spell, perhaps connected to this glass vessel. Is this remotely familiar to either of you? Do you think you could learn whatever this spell is?
This is the Isero family dungeon, apparently. So.
Oh, really?
Yes, this is my father's world.
This is my father's world.
This is my dad's notes.
My dad's.
Cicero, as you look at this page, you have no idea. Like the language that is written in.
Make it like I do.
The language that this is written in looks like very strange.
Can I check for the magic though?
Sure, make an Arcana check.
Nice.
You detect there's
Julie, what languages do you read? Or
It is a 12.
17.
I read Deep Speech, Infernal, and Primordial.
Okay.
I read Celestial.
Okay.
Me too.
Cicero, as you start to read through this, you can read some of the runes and arcane markings to know the spell is transmutation.
Nice, I got one of those.
And has to do with shifting forms, changing creatures into other creatures, but like the actual interworkings and the specifics of it are unclear. And truly, even as you get some glimpses at it and are looking at it, it is a language that derives from the place that you are from. It is not one of your primary areas of study. And if you could make a history check for me too.
Okay.
Do you know what this is?
That's a nat 20, baby.
Oh my gosh. This is a good round. Let's move this plot forward.
We're using up all of our good rolls for this session.
Yeah,
Next session.
None of them
Okay.
got that.
Specifically, the language is of the Duergar, Duregar. I might be wrong on that. It's close enough. Commenters on YouTube.
Is that the thing from Stranger Things?
No.
No. Okay.
Demogorgons.
Demogorgons.
Duergar.
Same thing.
Duergar are your plane of existence. Dwarves.
Yeah,
So-
Duergan.
Gar.
Durgan? Spoken by the Durgar? Durgar spoken by the Durgan?
No. Duergar speaking by the Duergar.
Oh, this is spoken by the Durgan. A dwarven.
What says that?
I hate this.
What are
Duergan.
you
like it.
referring to?
I don't like this. I don't want it. I want us to move on.
So in that, like, this was like something that you specifically did. Like, do you have Elvish or like things like that, or what languages?
No, I have
Okay.
Deep Speech, Infernal, Primordial.
It is like the combination of the deep and infernal and dwarvish, and so from that and what you and Cicero are able to kind of piece together from that too is that this spell, written in this kind of offshoot of the dwarvish language, does have to do with the shifting of physical forms. If you two worked together to kind of discern and kind of work through it between the arcane that you both can read and some of your language study too, you could probably get to a point of abstracting the important elements of this to use it. You also know you can use the scroll once, burns it, and it's gone. Or if you could get to a point of translating it, that you also could take this on as a spell that you'd be able to use. And also between the two of you, you discern that this spell is of the 4th level.
Whoa. We're only 3rd level.
Not even that.
No.
The spell that, the blink spell that you drank, you can't use because you only have 1st and 2nd level. Blink is 3rd. This is a tier above that.
Jeez Louise.
Heavenly.
Do we have any idea how long it would take to decipher it between us?
Not at this point. If you would like to make an Arcana check to just specifically sort that out.
I mean, there's no rush because Cicero's not going anywhere.
Yeah, you can do that with advantage as well.
20, not natural.
Yeah, do
With advantage?
Yeah.
An unnatural. A disgusting.
Pulse of 20.
The dirtiest 20 we've ever seen.
It's 27 dirty.
11.
Okay, so the 20.
He really has
Just
drink that
to
much.
translate the spell well, without any type of help from somebody who could speak the language, it would
Can you just Google it?
10, 12 hours.
What if we had someone who speaks Dwarf?
Right, but if you had that type of help and what you can do with your element of language understanding and both of y'all's arcane knowledge, you could easily reduce that to less than half, probably like 4 hours to get.
Oh gosh. If only we knew a magic dwarf.
Right?
Do we not? Right, I don't understand what he's
He was being sarcastic.
Oh, I love sarcasm.
Well, with that too, Julie, you know that there's a big difference between a dwarf and a Duergar. That their culture and language is, although related, still very separate. And it wouldn't be just a given that a magical dwarf would be able to do the work that you'd want.
What I said was stupid, is what he said.
I like to find really complicated ways to yeah.
Oh, Steve. Well, this is gonna take a long time.
There's a big difference between my in-game intelligence and
Yeah.
my real intelligence.
So, should we take this to maybe Rickledar?
Is it on the outside of the thing? Can
Put
we
that
grab
junk in
it?
your pocket.
Can we take it?
I think so.
I thought it was inside the board.
I share everything that I learned with the group.
The
it's not
notes are on the
like
outside?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It is my father's.
Oh my gosh. Do I see, from my
You
that,
like
that
your
20
dad or something?
that I rolled earlier,
Oh,
can that
God.
goodwill from that 20 grant me just looking at these papers? Are there any like sketchings of the creature? Anything that looks like that he's just being like observed and like drawn?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
We're just crying.
Pilgrim, as you're sorting through some of your pages while they're reading this one, that you can see some notes and some of it's in common, some of it's in Elvish, some of it's in another language that you're not really sure. But from the sketches and some of the languages you can read too, that there were experiments and changes and things done to Creature 1 that was in the other cylinder that's been busted, to change its physical form, change its abilities, do things to it that were successful. And then in the other one, there were just experiments on specifically Huskstone. Can we get this transference? Can we change the consciousness of something and move it into the stone? And then also, can we then put it into something else? That this was the science or technology or thing that the people who were working on this were trying to develop and practice.
Science rules. Okay.
Let's go.
All right. New plan. It seems like the task of removing this body from this glass cell is beyond any of our abilities. So I propose that we take as many descriptive pages as we can.
I will take them.
Thank you, Cicero. Along with these Huskstone pieces,
Sure.
I say
We have to get them to someone in particular.
They're my father's.
Right.
great.
We need to let Rickledor and or Fairgrand see them.
Potentially.
Is that what you call Rickledar's door? Door.
I propose that we take these pages, we take the husk stone shards, we scour this underground maze. What is
above ground, which you know is above sea level.
You're right. This above ground maze for as many valuables as we can, because we're only getting a percentage.
Pilgrim, when you talk, I fall asleep.
And, well, then I'm talking to the rest of the room. Alright? Sweet dreams.
Speak faster. Nice. I'm also of low intelligence and don't understand what you're saying and can't pay attention. What do you need from me?
Cicero's mouth is open in mid-speech while Misery does this whole thing. Let's take everything in the room and look for valuables and leave and go to Fairgrand is my proposal.
That's a modest proposal.
Tuli is looking at the creature.
Yeah.
Is there any way that looking at this creature that it could have, if it was able to break the glass, is there any way that it could have like moved on its own and like crawled out of like on its own?
Sure. Make a nature check for me.
11.
Okay. From the design of this creature alone, it looks as if it would exist underwater. And so if it broke out, you'd feel like it would look odd and not be able to function. It doesn't have legs, it doesn't have the ability to walk or move.
It'd be like a fish out.
It has a big head and little arms.
So Tuli's gonna say, she goes, I am totally in for our smash and grab. One last thought. It doesn't look like if this one that was in the broken tube got out, if it was exactly the same, if it was a copy, it doesn't look like it could have gotten out on its own. So I guess that means there's some kind of like third player here in this game of life.
Like a ghost.
Who got the creature out somehow. So I think there's someone somewhere who is helping these creatures. I don't know why maybe they only had the brother. I don't know.
It's probably Cicero's
Do you
crappy
think it's
dad.
Okay, first of all,
It's a ghost of this
I know that we've shared life stories now, and you have problems with your father. I love my father.
Okay.
R.I.P.
Your dead father who may or may not be buried in the backyard. We don't even know.
Hypothetically, who knows? You think my father is here in the cave?
Well, I'm sure he was probably mind controlled if it was him. It wasn't his fault.
Dooley, are you implying that we cannot trust our magical friends, or just that there is more complicated factors at work here?
I think probably like the latter. The second one.
The ladder.
Well, Pilgrim's gonna just start picking up pages because I'm in the headspace of like, let's collect as much as we can and get out of there.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna try to take all of them from Pilgrim, and again repeat over and over again. They are my father's.
do I have to roll a strength check? I'm trying to hold on to the pages that I'm holding on to. I'm not letting him take pages from me.
Okay. I'll say last session you were very open to just giving him everything.
You were.
So where is the difference here, and what do you think is?
Even I'm the husband.
I think I mean
Steven's done a lot of puzzle today.
Yeah.
I'm set. The Hearthstone has intrigued me, so I'm just set on getting my stuff and getting out of there. And he's being obnoxious. So
Might I add that I said out loud to him, Cicero, you understand we have to give these to other people to see them, and he said potentially.
You understand that if your father left papers behind and you didn't know anything about them because he was doing mysterious things on weird creatures, you'd want the papers too.
I do get that.
Cicero, let's come to a compromise. I think it's very important that Fairgrand sees these papers, and I also understand that you want to understand what it was that your father was studying.
Yes.
Can we split these papers 50-50?
No.
Can you come with us, and Fairgrand can help you understand
How about
what your father was studying?
Hypothetically, tell me about your fathers.
I don't remember my father. Cicero, you carry half the papers. I borrow half the papers from you in my arms.
When we get there.
When we get there. And when we get there, I will continue to have borrowed the papers from you and then we will show them to Fairgrand, after which you can keep all of the papers.
Alternative option, you can give me the papers now.
And you will follow us to Fairgrand.
And I will follow you to Fairgrand, and hypothetically we'll have a discussion there whether or not I should see them.
May I hold the Huskstone?
Yes.
Shards.
Yes.
Thank you. This was a worthwhile conversation.
This helped progress the plot.
They're very sharp.
And I'm going to hand the papers that I've been collecting to Cicero. I'm going to keep on
them in my little vest.
Picking up Huskstone, shards, and that's about it for old Pilgrim.
You get a spell too.
Yeah, between Tuli and Cicero, because you two both had the spell. What are we doing with that?
I will give Tuli a spell and say, call it even. I just stopped the rest of the papers in my
And Tuli says, about what?
Yes. Yep.
Cool.
Does it look like the big bones that were in the previous room?
Big bones.
The very large ones.
Yes.
Do they look as though they could come from a creature of the type that is in this tube? Okay.
Not at all. Very different.
Thank you.
Yeah.
They have like arms and legs and stuff. And
Did we
things.
Did we miss anywhere in here, or have we gone everywhere there was to go?
I think there's a bunch more places to go.
There's definitely another hallway.
Are you talking about the entire maze, or just
Let's
this
go
room?
to another hallway.
The entire maze.
Yeah.
I'm gonna transform into a small, tiny me version of that creature that I just saw.
Your
still hold
size
on the
stays the
papers.
same.
Yeah.
A small, tiny version of that little creature I just saw.
Which creature?
The one in the
He wants to be the
You're
two.
gonna flop around on the ground like
you
a
don't have
fish?
like the form.
anatomy.
I saw him more as a four-legged.
It's got to be humanoid.
Your skin goes gray.
Yeah, you need arms and legs.
That's cool.
Dang, I thought he had arms.
You're Tuli now.
Never mind. I don't do that.
It's a whale.
Well, once I've gotten all the Huskstone, I would. Pilgrim's thought was gather all the information we can, scour the place for valuables, and then go back to Fairground.
Sounds great.
Pilgrim's just aiming for wherever we didn't explore. Oh, there's all the wolves. Shoot, there's another hallway of wolves.
Yeah.
Are we
Yeah,
ready to
you
fight
found
more
it.
wolves?
I'm super down to fight some wolves, but
That's what it was. Shoot.
if we're gonna keep making friends with them, then forget it.
Let's go. We're in game again. We're in game again.
I've been in game.
All right.
What is happening?
My
you
friends.
DMing or staying?
Attention, half dozen. Hip okay. We have accomplished. If we want to view it in this way to feel accomplished, we've completed the task of being in this room.
Yeah.
Now, on to the next task. There is still another chamber, another hallway. However, this was when I did earlier, moments ago, teleport through the bars of this strange cage. There are more wolves to be encountered. Loreleth, I don't know if you can befriend them. I don't know if your companion can. And I give a little scratchy to Wolfie. Is that what we're calling it officially, Wolfie?
Not yet. I mean, yes.
Okay.
For now.
I give Wolfie a little scratchy. I'm not sure if your companion will be able to reason with these other wolves. However, there are more furry obstacles in our path were we to fully explore this cavern. Should we progress to this area, or should we dip while we're ahead?
I think we can progress to this area.
I know I'm of below average intelligence, but I feel that the biggest and rarest of treasures would be guarded by these wolves.
I think I can figure it out.
Lead the way, Loreleth.
So,
Lori.
with Wolfie by my side, I go towards the wolves in the other hallway.
Yeah.
However
gosh.
that process is.
Slowly and carefully.
And
I'm holding no broken glass this time.
You're actually holding a lot of shards.
I send Wolfie a little bit ahead of me towards them.
Okay.
And then can I cast Speak with Animals?
Yes, you may.
Yes.
Oh, you do have it. That makes me feel better.
I cast that. The wolves are there.
Are you casting them at the wolves?
Yeah.
Okay. So you were working your way down the hall.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if you were doing that to speak with Wolfie.
No.
Okay. So you
To speak with all of them.
Yeah. Okay. So you get
Because it's plural. Animals.
you and oh my gosh, we really put these in weird
I don't
places.
just have to pick one animal that I talk to.
Right. No. You're good. Okay. As you start to head down this hallway and look about, give me a second to make sure I can get myself oriented here too. Okay. Yeah, you do see where the rest of the wolves are. There we go. That. Okay. And you get a sense of the rest of the area as you and Wolfie scour ahead. You get to kind of a crossroads. You see them, and Wolfie stops and kind of nudges you to a different hallway. And stops you kind of right where I put you both. Straight down the hallway, directly across towards Joey, is where the wolves reside. And Wolfie kind of like blocks off that hallway as if to like prevent you from getting closer to those wolves. But then you're able to cast also Speak with Animals and see towards the end of that hallway where a couple of them are kind of circled together, lying on top of each other. They are also sleeping, like the group you found earlier. And you've cast Speak with Animals.
So first I look at Wolfie and say, we need to get past them.
You get back from casting Speak with Animals. They're resting. No problem.
So how do we get past them?
Who are you asking?
One moment, and then...
I'm asking Wolfie. I'm having a conversation.
Wolfie.
Ever heard of it?
Wolfie. Waffle.
Mr. Waffles.
Mr. Wolf walks down the hallway. We're married.
Shout out to Banjo, our new favorite puppy. His name should have been Mr. Wolf.
Wolfie like walks by and just kind of like peeks around, tiptoes, and then comes back and then reports back. There's nothing but wolf den that way.
We don't know anything.
This is you're right.
Does that
She's barking.
does that mean that there are more wolves back there?
4 or 5.
Count.
Is there anything beyond the den?
No, that's what. There's nothing but wolf den. Like he was just saying. That itself, it's just a wolf den that way.
Okay. I pat his little head and say thank you, and we walk back to the group, and I say, we went down there, Wolfie took a look ahead, there are only more wolves and more wolves in a wolf den. There is nothing of value beyond the wolves.
How do you know that your pet knows what is valuable? I probably just didn't see any bones or food.
It was a wolf den. It was where wolves live. There was nothing except for wolves in it.
But you know how like dragons protect treasure? Maybe wolves protect like smaller treasure.
I look at Wolfie. How long does Speak with Animals last?
I think like an hour or
Okay.
something.
I look at Wolfie and say, was there anything shiny in the wolf den?
What is shiny? No? What are you looking for? Is like you get
Was there anything
confusion?
that wasn't a wolf or an animal in the den?
Food, bedding, wolves.
Great.
Not a
Thank
wolf.
you. No. There's only wolves, bedding, and food.
10 minutes you get for Speak with Animals.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Probably what happened is the mastermind wandered back there and he wrote out his whole plot on the wall and it was mauled by wolves. And we're never going to know because we're not going to go back there.
Yeah,
That's
my
my
father. Dumb wolf.
Mastermind. That takes care of this whole hallway, but then there's still like this unexplored spot.
Okay. Can I, without us having to go down there,
Yeah.
I look at Wolfie and say, can you run down the other hallway we passed and come back and let me know if there's any dangers down there?
That's good. That's a nut.
I'm not allowed.
Whoa. Interesting.
Did Viscera tell him that?
Who told you that you're not allowed?
He who owns this domain. Like,
Does he look like this little man over here?
This weak
and
man.
looks at Cicero and looks back at you. Much worse.
Worse?
But similar.
Father wasn't.
No.
Not at all?
No. It actually takes you back to the cages that you had like teleported through, and those bones, and it kind of like nudges towards some of the bones, and it says like one of these.
Huh.
And it looks pretty fearful at this point.
But it's dead now, or it's still here?
No, this one's still alive.
And it's down that hallway.
Yes.
You don't think we could make it down that hallway? If all of us together went.
We've tried. We've had numbers. We've fallen.
What is a serious dude?
That just means they tripped. It's fine.
They fell and they could get up.
Okay, thank you.
Like, you get this, like, we know our place. Is kind of like the sense of that.
Sounds like we gotta go shatter the patriarchy.
I walk back into the room with everyone else, and I kind of look at all of them and say, there is more down another hallway, but it's clear that there is danger there, that the person who owns this lab is down there, and it is not Viscero. I don't know who it is. No, it is not any Isseros.
Make a nature check for the bones that it was nudging at earlier too, as you were looking at it.
The bones.
Bones them.
13
Dry bones.
plus.
Bones are back in there.
The dog bone connected to the
Bones are really wet.
other dog bone.
Wet.
The
They're not
other
dry.
dog connected to
These
the
ones are.
17.
third.
But like
17.
bones.
17 again,
Yeah.
starring Jennifer Garner.
Jennifer Garner's bones are very bestial and has very profound
Jennifer! No!
What about Zac Efron? She's not in that. Zac
Is
Efron.
that 13 to go down?
You're right. I'm doing the wrong one. I'm
You mean
sorry.
Zac Efron.
I'm
Zac
sorry.
Are you
Efron.
thinking of 13 going on 30, buddy?
Yeah.
And Mark Ruffalo.
That one's better. Can we be honest? That
Yeah,
one's better.
it is. No,
that
I
one's
agree.
so much
I
better.
agree.
There's like the top half of the skull that is similar to the one that you have in your head, not like identical, of like owl bearness.
Oh, her actual health.
Not my
in her
skull.
head, on her head.
Similar to what's inside your
My accoutrement.
Yes, to the sense that it is bestial with profound canines coming down, and then as you look through the rest of them, you can find claws attached to the phalanges, and even bones for wings. And then you had found quills earlier, like sharp spines.
Yeah, I kept them.
And you are piecing together this like large bestial creature that is very odd and has mismatched pieces of different things.
Like a modified animal from earlier.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Let me explain it to you.
No. Cicero. You took some things from me before.
Interesting. I have no idea what you're talking
It's fine to make that potion that you took that made you destroy your house.
about. No idea what you're talking about.
Cicero,
10 out of 10.
I'm not angry with you,
Interesting.
but I need you to be truthful with me in this moment.
Okay.
It's important.
Yep.
You made a potion. You turned into something that caused you and others, including a
Would you
troll.
know all this?
Yes, you told us
your
about
group
it.
updated every-
Dang it. I did, didn't I?
To destroy your house. What kind of creature did you turn into when you took this potion? This is a question that I'm asking.
The whole group hears this, so those that were there also could hear what is happening.
I can hear this.
I can hear the bells.
Have you ever... I'm gonna turn into a pilgrim.
No.
Press into those sinuses. You got this.
Yeah.
Have you ever been...
I have a big show.
I'll call a question for you. baseline. I am an obnoxious person.
There you go. Try that. That's your trigger phrase.
You have a bit. I can't even do it now. I'm gonna be my normal self. Well, have you ever been so angry that like you just break stuff?
No.
You rip two stuff
Yes.
your bones.
Never.
You just smash things.
I fully understand how that feels.
Yeah.
I don't.
Okay.
What I'm asking is what was the anatomy?
Did it look like a creature?
Yes.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I never looked in a mirror.
Okay. Gwen?
Stefani.
Misery?
We were there.
The two of you were there?
Yeah, we were there.
Oh shoot. Can you describe
How
what
cool I looked?
he looked like?
Let me check my memory bank real quick.
Misery's eyes roll back in his head.
He was very large for sure. Larger than your average.
Uh-huh.
That's no moon.
That's
your
the
mother.
large troll boy.
And then I said, I think I looked like this.
And that's where we end this.
Gwen.
I'm working on it.
Oh, okay.
Was he in quick note version? Because like you know,
You probably don't.
he grew a couple of feet, definitely more muscular, and became
Like taller. There's some feet on his
I
back.
was like, I did not write that
He had
down.
50 toes.
So many feet
So many toes.
He just became like a very
12
full
feet.
version of himself. So
Yeah.
humanoid, same limbs.
What
all
color?
that.
Same color.
Bluish. Yeah, 'cause
Ah,
you had
bluish.
used sapphire, which you thought was red for a moment.
Yes.
Pretty accurate. That sounds right.
Okay.
He looks it.
I don't know how, why you, what?
I'm no longer
muscles.
convinced that your father isn't here.
What?
However, let me finish.
Okay.
I don't think he is as you remember him.
Interesting.
Had your
Kind?
father, correct,
Okay.
in many ways.
Loving?
Yes, he's not like that anymore, if it's him. I don't know anything about Misery's dad.
I know, I told me this whole life.
Okay,
He doesn't.
I need
care
you to
about
focus for a moment.
Uh-huh.
Did your dad ever mention anything about interest in studying animals or trying to gain different abilities?
No, my dad was very, 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 so much against my desire to do the spell that I did that was successful. He told me it wasn't going to work. He said, don't do it. He said it was dangerous. He said it definitely. There's no way that I could ever accomplish what I was going to accomplish. But then I took that thing from you.
Yes.
And then I took that and I did I stole something.
No, say it for the
I stole something from her.
Oh.
Pilgrim.
No.
And then I did the spell
Uh-huh.
and I did it.
Yes.
He was very against it.
That's not what I'm asking.
That's why I waited until he died.
It sounds like
He's in the backyard of my house.
you're not 100%
Allegedly.
convinced that he's there.
92%.
I think it is possible, as we've seen lots
my
of
father did this?
writings.
I did.
I think your father did a spell similar to what you did, but may have turned him into a bear-like creature that exists at the end of the hallway, which my wolf friend does not want us to go down.
In the land.
Listen carefully. Your dad is a bear at the end of the hall.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of confused. My dad did the spell he told me for 20 years.
No, I didn't say that spell. I said I think he did a similar spell that
No,
turned
he
him
was
into.
very against.
He was very against you
He was
doing
very
it.
against the spells that would shape and change us. He was very against it. He said shape changing has to be something you're in control of. He was very against doing that spell.
Shape changing has to be something
Yeah,
you're
like
in
this.
control of.
I turned into the girl.
So he wasn't against shape changing.
No, like this. And I turned into Laura.
This is the first time you've done this.
Hello.
Aw. How does it feel?
I'm just confused.
Turn into Julie.
Thanks.
Yeah. Like that. What's up?
I could be dreaming right now. I have no idea what's happening in real life. I don't know what's happening.
As we've learned.
Sally's trying to have her.
We're progressing the plot pretty far.
I don't know about that.
As we've
We're
learned,
discussing a contract.
there is a lot about your father.
You think he's at the end of the hallway?
I think
You think he's a bear?
I think he's a bear-like creature.
Well, see, here's the thing though. If he was gonna do that spell, he wouldn't have done it for a bear.
What would he have done it for?
He would have done it for a wolf.
I think your dad is at the end of the hallway and is a wolf-like creature.
Let's go get him, dude.
Like this guy?
You can talk to him. You can talk
Yes.
to him.
My dad?
Yes, like the dead bones that are on the ground right now. Yes.
These bones are my dad?
No.
Oh.
These bones are someone your dad was friends with. Maybe.
My dad killed a guy?
No, I don't know how they
I'm
died.
very curious. He's at the end of the hallway? Mm-hmm. She thinks my dad's at the end of the hallway, Pilgrim.
I've written an entire book during this conversation, and now Pilgrim's going to read it.
What I have to say is
We should go. Why are we going down the hallway then?
Wolfie, my wolf companion, is very afraid to go down the hallway.
My dad?
No.
Okay.
He has said that he who owns this place told him not to go down that hallway.
But that guy who owns the place is not my dad.
The guy who owns the place might be your dad.
My dad owns this place?
Can we just go?
Chapter 1. Using 500 words to say 5 words.
Why are we going? We can go down the hallway.
Because the wolf is afraid. The wolf has tried to go down the hallway many times, and it has not gone well.
But we are not wolves.
We are not wolves. We are also not wolves that breathe fire, and we almost died because of some wolves that can.
That's true.
If they can't make it down the hallway, something tells me we will also have issues going down the hallway.
Did he tell you why he can't go down the hallway?
Because the man who owns this place told him he's not allowed
He's
to.
not allowed to. Well, the man didn't tell us anything. And it's my dad.
Okay, I'm just communicating the information that I know. That's all I have to say.
I'm going to whisper to Cicero.
Now I understand why she never included me in other conversations.
Yeah, that was his thought.
I just heard it.
I'm going to whisper to Cicero and just say, do you want to just go?
Yes,
Run?
if my dad's there, yes.
Alright, I'm going to run.
Okay, go for it. I'm coming with
Run? You're running?
I'm running to the end of the hallway.
To my father.
What if we like go down there and maybe Pilgrim, it should be like pretty easy for Pilgrim to just like mind link and see, is this a mindless creature or is this like Cicero's dad? Maybe?
I don't think the doubt is that it's a mindless creature down there.
But do you think he'd be able to tell, is this like formerly
I don't know.
Cicero?
Question.
As Tim or as Cicero?
As Tim.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Message.
Yeah.
It says if I am familiar with the creature, I can cast it through the target and know it is beyond the barrier. I can cast a spell through solid objects up to 120 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Could I whisper? Could I message for my father?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Misery's already sprinted down the hallway. So,
Wait.
Misery's already been eaten by your dad.
Misery's already been eaten by the
Hold on, I'm
wolves
having
that
a
were
meal.
Whoa. Connect to Dad. Guys, this is very healing. It's time to connect with Dad.
It can also doesn't have to follow a straight line. It can travel freely around corners or through openings.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna message for my father.
Yeah.
I can do it with anybody in the whole world.
As long as I'm familiar with the target.
Joey, this is an important, it's a pivotal plot
Okay.
point. Let's go.
That is not what
Your
you're
first
trying
chance to talk to your dad and you say that,
It's the
you...
ancient call of the Isseros.
It's not, and you know it.
Are you in the Issero clan?
What? That you okay?
That's the ancient call of the Isseros.
Oh my
Sure.
god.
Much like everybody
We can
else.
clear the fog, light the path, but we can't whittle other Isseros. It's character development.
Yes.
Okay?
To the expectation of everybody else at this table except him. You hear nothing.
It's not my father.
Is
I
it?
messaged.
Okay, I don't look at Cicero. I look at Pilgrim because I'm done talking to Cicero. It went nowhere.
I went so many places.
Yeah, not any of the places it needed to go. Do you think it is possible that Cicero's father turned into a wolf-like creature that has changed consciousness to where that's why Cicero couldn't communicate with him.
I changed my consciousness every day.
I don't know what that. I don't have words for what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying.
Wherever you want to be. It's D&D. What's even happening?
I mean, yeah, Pilgrim is dead silence for a full 30 seconds processing that question.
Julie's gonna say, "Where's Spencer?"
Do you understand what I'm asking, though? It's a serious question.
I do. After what we have witnessed today in this above-ground cavern, anything is possible. So, I would say that whatever this mysterious force is... I'm not talking a bathroom-length dialogue. It's bathroom break dialogue now. Whatever...
Midget can't hear you, don't worry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever this presence is, I apologize. I was trying my genuine hardest to cling to the conversational thread that the two of you were weaving. I do believe I lost my grip at a few points, but I have been trying tooth and nail to follow what you were saying. And I do believe...
This is my father.
Thank you. We believe your father is a werewolf of sorts. Is that a giant?
I think it is possible.
Yeah, let's go.
Possible.
Hey, we didn't message with
I believe I witnessed you attempting your message spell to communicate.
Yeah, the ancient call of the Astros.
You received nothing.
Nothing back.
What is that ancient call? So you did do the walulululalu and received nothing.
Yeah.
I cannot mind link with another creature unless they are within roughly 30 feet of me. So, if there is anything down here, which we still do not fully know, we won't know until we embark further in. At this stage, we have already accumulated an extraordinary amount of new mystery and knowledge. However, I would say it would be foolish, borderline reckless to not fully explore this cavern as above ground, as we've already established that it has very direct and personal connections to multiple among our party.
Yeah,
Guys,
but leaving things
seriously,
half done.
where is Misery?
I think I've
Let's go find out what
I've gone halfway down the hallway and realized that Cicero's not following me, so I've turned around and I just go
All right,
Did
let's
you
go.
wait?
hey!
Okay. We're going down the hallway.
Maybe we don't yell down the hallway where there's wolves sleeping that could
I
attack
yelled
us.
I yelled to you guys.
It's like an ambulance. You can't hear it from behind him.
Yeah, Doppler effect.
I'm gonna set
Is
my...
that true, Dungeon Master?
Everyone roll a bullshit check.
Done.
What do we add to that?
Mine's
Arcana?
starting on.
You could have tracked
No.
6.
2.
-4 from Laura.
Nat 20.
Everything is ambulance.
11.
I'm gonna... okay. Pilgrim...
This is bullshit in sign language.
Pilgrim
Looks like
is
ambulance.
going to...
Hold on. This is very important. This is Fruit Dog. Okay, go ahead.
Pilgrim...
This is bitch, please.
I hate this. I hate it.
I'm listening to you.
Pilgrim is going to set his Huskstone shards in a neat little pile in the corner
Nice.
so that they're no longer in my arms, capable of being shattered on the ground. And then I'm going to, as stealthily as I can, creep down this corridor and gesture of please follow me to the rest of the half dozen.
I do want the record to show that Misery did call after me, and I did run.
You did run with me.
And now
Okay,
we're
so in that case, Pilgrim is following Cicero and
I
Misery.
just want the record to show we are running.
They are boldly leading. I
Running
wish I could be
down the
half
hallway.
the man they are, and I'm following.
Julie goes to you.
Okay. As you all are leading this charge and just running through, the first thing that you come down across the hallway, not being stealthy, is a room with more tables set up and stacks of a couple different books and sheets of paper. And as you peek in, do either of you have dark vision?
Yes.
No.
Okay, so this is more misery-led. As you peek in, you see a bunch of boring books and stuff that just like is a generally vacant, quiet, and boring room.
That sounds boring to me.
Okay.
What
do you say to Cicero?
Hey, it's really boring in there, and there's no bears. You want to keep going? Or going?
Okay.
There's books. You like books?
Oh, books!
Fine.
God.
Okay.
Hey, Julie, grab the books real quick in there, please.
Okay, the rest of the party catches up to Misery and Cicero, just peering over books and pages and things. What you find is a study, a place that has abundance of more notes and scripts and things. So.
Can I do a investigation
Sure.
just to see what is most valuable?
Yeah.
How long has it been since I first cast Speak with Animals?
100 years.
Yeah.
Maybe 5 minutes.
Okay.
Still have it. Yeah.
But 2 hours of real time.
Yes. Okay.
I kind of look over at Wolfie and say, "What do you think is lying ahead of us?"
Beast that commands its own space. One that has been bestowed, given domain, like this feeling of like a transference of power to this thing. That.
Do you think that with our group of 7, we have any fighting chance?
I don't know what you're capable of.
Okay.
So freaking much, dude.
Very well.
In your investigation check, Thule, exciting, awesome books, but you feel the rush of the party kind of like forcing you to like skim and just try to like get things real quick, and you gather a couple of books and stacks of parchment that clearly has some arcane power and stuff associated with it too. But this tear, this pull that Thule feels of like pleasing people and kind of like, oh, like they want to do this thing, but like here's all of this information, and you're just like kind of like gathering it and pulling it all together and just feeling like there's so much here, but like what are we doing?
I put as much as I can in my backpack.
Okay. What else are we doing?
I would say that kind of Pilgrim was being very careful, kind of witnessing, kind of watching that Loreless is having some sort of kind of mental
For the sake that's there.
communication with Wolfie. So Pilgrim is going to say, any insight you can provide to this area? What is your companion telling you?
There is a beast that lies ahead that is what seems to be the alpha of this space. And it seems like it's very powerful and very strong. I don't know how we stand against it, as this my wolf friend here is rather new to our party. Doesn't know our capabilities yet.
Sounds like my ex-wife. Okay, so Pilgrim is then going to say...
I don't even get it.
Half dozen. Do we move forward and confront this beast?
Are you talking?
My perception of how it's going is that Midri and I are continuing to run forward.
Yeah, we took a little pit stop for some.
I yelled back at Julie and said, grab the books, and we kept going.
Right, so while I was saying that, I realized that Misery and Cicero are not among us, and then I comprehend that they have left, and I say,
I don't know if we're going to stop unless we have to.
revised remaining half dozen. Let us protect our bold companions. And then Pilgrim is going to follow Misery and Cicero.
1/4 of a 12th
Quarter.
piece of cake.
4/12.
4/12.
4/12.
Wait, how many eighths is that?
I
That's
hate
6 eighths.
Half the eights. Misery and Cicero, the door on the right that you get to is locked. You actually see a sturdy wooden door blocking you off from the space ahead. The one on the left has another transmutation rune set into the wall, otherwise a very vacant room.
Nice. Then do that thing I did last time.
Which was?
Message at it and say, open sesame.
Yes, and as you all are trying to catch up and get back into a group together, you can hear as dozens of sconces along the hallways, all the way behind you and ahead of you, light up in green flame. And when you were using a torch that you had floating by, and other you were using dark vision, now everything illuminates in a dark green light. That all these flames that are attached magically to these torches affixed to the walls all light up, and the entire chamber, this entire place, is now back functioning to the lighting that is built into it.
How does Wolfie respond to this?
Wolfie does look a little uncomfortable and goes to this like kind of hunched back, hair raising, just looking around and being generally uncomfortable.
Does that turn green?
I'm getting there.
Oh.
What you all don't see right now is I turned the box in the middle all green.
We kind of see it on the other cameras. Pilgrim drops his torch because that was spooky. I am not holding it anymore. And I kind of look at the torch and then kind of look around.
Nice.
What?
It was there.
Was there anything else noticeably in the chamber that's changed apart from the torches, or just the torch? The door didn't move at all?
No, the door did not move at all.
Okay.
But there's still another hallway down around the far end.
We're just gonna keep running, right?
I'm going till. Will we open the door? Or
No.
no, the door's
No, there is a shut door.
There is a way to go.
And there is also a further way to go.
We just keep going.
I guess we give up on that.
I follow them.
Okay. Then as you all then enter a last chamber, which you see completely dead ends, there's a pile of bookcases that are all shattered and broken. No books, but just the wood all piled together to the back of it. Broken chairs, broken tables, and just a pile of destruction. And 6 sconces around that too, with this dark light, all throwing this green across the room to other shelves that have fallen apart and just debris across it. And as you both get to the end of running and start to take in this place, and your feet just from the slow stop of getting to, okay, we don't know where else we are heading to after this. From behind the shelves and bookcases, you can hear, "Which of you dares come into my domain?"
I don't know. Do I recognize that voice?
No. The rest of you catch up a bit behind, just catching your breath. Wolfie slowly just padding his way in.
I was gonna say, Wolfie and I are hanging towards the back. I'm not excited about rushing into this because I tried to tell everyone not to.
Yeah. Misery, Cicero?
I don't think that's my dad's voice. Do we talk to it?
I'll go for it.
Okay, yeah, you try.
It is I, the great Misery Furnace. Sir.
A name and a body I have not smelled here before.
You can't smell this?
Axe Bobby spray, man.
Fantasy axe buddy.
It is the Axe Bobby. And body.
He doesn't know me.
He doesn't smell you.
Say your turn.
Yeah.
There's another.
It is I! Cicero! From the Isero tribe. I think you know you might either be my dad or know my dad. And if you are my dad, that's really weird. And if you know my dad, I'm a lot afraid, I think. Do you know my
British
dad?
to Canadian.
Dad!
You know my dad.
You know my dad!
His name is
Dad!
His name is Isero. Maybe you know his father, Isero.
We're gonna kill him.
Peeking around the
Oh my god,
bookshelves.
This is terrifying.
This is what you see.
Dingus.
We'll put him out there
But
later.
where's his tail?
And his broken tail. He does have a tail.
It's Aslan.
This winged lion creature, and a tail does kind of spiral up around its head. A very long, scaly, and then giant black quills stick out, where you see dozens of these like sharp barbs hanging from its tail.
Dozens?
many dozens, multiples of half that becomes more, and in a very gaping open mouth and eyes that look humanoid, but a body that looks very mutated and bloody and unkempt, as its mane is almost matted back and its face looks rugged and almost bruised and sunken in. This awful looking creature kind of steps out from behind the bookcases. Now that's a smell that I remember.
It's Old Spice. You gotta try it.
I think it's just dad smell.
Oh, you know my dad? You know how he smelled?
You would not give me a good cliffhanger, would you?
Sorry. Do it again. Try again.
It's deflated the
Can
balloon.
you edit this? Try again.
I like it.
I'm so sorry.
Did Brith send you? He tries again. Yeah, he does say, like, did Brith send you? And yes, sure, here at this inflated and deflated ending, we shall end episode 19.
Who's Brith?
Wah, wah.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine.
It was me. I spoke.
To figure out who smells like Old Spice, join episode 20.
Yeah.